Hello, and welcome back to the Calm and Connected podcast. I'm your host, Janine Halloran, and today's topic is all about anger. And I titled the episode, It's Okay to Be Angry, because I think sometimes people feel like it's not okay to be angry. Kids and families feel like it's an emotion that should be avoided. And I let them know it's just an emotion. There's no good or bad about it. It is just an emotion. So you don't want to feel like it's a bad thing to be angry. So what I wanted to do was give you 3 tips for working with kids who are experiencing anger, and for yourself if you're experiencing anger. It is okay to be angry. So let's dive right in. So the first thing I like to mention are the feelings rules. It's okay to feel everything. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel frustrated. But what you do when you experience those emotions, that matters. So when you are feeling big feelings, no matter what they are, sad, mad, angry, frustrated, anxious, it is okay to feel them. The guidelines I like to put in place are: do not hurt yourself, do not hurt other people or other living creatures, and do not hurt property. So if you are feeling those things and you are abiding by those rules, that's okay. So try doing something else. Try doing wall push-ups, or try taking a cold sip of water. Those are all healthy, safe ways to deal with it when you have big feelings like anger, but it doesn't break any of the rules. It is incredible to see the actual relief from kids when they hear that it's okay to be angry. And it has happened multiple times to me while I've been working with a child in therapy. Well, I'll say, it's okay to be angry. And they look at me kind of like I'm saying something funny. And I say, it's okay to be angry. I get angry. Everybody gets angry. People, your mom gets angry, your teachers get angry, the principal gets angry, everybody gets angry, but it really matters how you deal with it. So that's why it's important to have the framework of it is okay, but you have to abide by these rules. You have to abide by these standards. So you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting property, and you're not hurting other people or other living creatures. Fantastic. Then let's figure out something else that you can do within those frameworks that will help you manage, process, and get through your anger. The second thing that I think it's really important for we as adults to keep in mind is the anger iceberg. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with this concept, but it's the idea that anger is just the tip of the iceberg. So if you imagine an iceberg and you see the top of it, when we are seeing kids angry, we are just seeing the very tip top of that iceberg. But as you know, there's so much beneath the water, beneath the surface when it comes to anger and this iceberg. So we see the anger, but underneath it could be anxiety, could be stress, could be worry, could be frustration, could be guilt or grief, all sorts of other emotions that are a little bit more vulnerable and harder to express and harder to really dig in and get to. That's what's underneath the anger for some kids. And it just comes out as anger. And truly, anger pushes people away, so you don't dig much deeper when you're dealing with somebody who is angry initially, because you're trying to manage the bigness of that angry behavior. It makes me think of the movie Angst, and it was a perfect opportunity to really hear this from a child and from teenagers. The movie Angst is all about helping kids learn and manage anxiety. So it's for ages 10 plus. It's for kids to watch ages 10 plus, or families or school systems. And I saw it at a middle school, and then I screened it myself at my local library, and it was incredible. It just tells the kids tell their story about how they are experiencing anxiety throughout the movie. And then it comes up with some strategies and some coping skills that you can use for anxiety. During the screening, I was reminded again of this connection between anxiety and anger, because a couple of the kids mentioned, my anxiety came out as anger. I would get so mad and it would just come out in a rage, and it didn't look like what other people thought anxiety should look like. So just keep that in mind when you're working with kids, that their anxiety could be showing up and popping through as anger. The third thing I like to think about is making sure that we as the adults keep our cool as well. So when we are dealing with an angry child, an angry student, an angry client, it's really easy to get pulled into the trap and then get our own emotions heightened, and we have a reaction and then they have a reaction, and that's just this bigger, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the thing is, we need to make sure that we are keeping our own emotions in check. We are being role models. We're showing our children, we're showing our clients, we're showing our students how to manage big emotions. And I remember I was listening to a podcast by Jackie Flynn, who's a really well-known play advocate and play therapist, and she talks about being the thermostat, not the thermometer in one of those situations. So you don't want to fluctuate with the temperature of the child and the temperature of what's going on. You want to set the tone. You want to set the temperature. So you want to be the thermostat. You set it. If you stay calm, it will keep the situation calmer. By you taking a few deep breaths, by you using your own strategies and using some positive self-talk so that you can get through that moment, it will help you then be able to more effectively interact with the child who's having a hard time. In those situations when you're dealing with a child or a teenager who is angry, I recommend really staying calm yourself. That is huge. Learning how to do your own deep breathing, learning how to use self-soothing statements for yourself, and then also not doing too much talking, because in that moment when they are full of anger and frustration and they are throwing all sorts of insults your way, that is not a teachable moment. They can't hear you. They can't take any new information in. You have to do that later. Once an issue has come to its conclusion, then you can have your debrief with the child and figure out what happened and help them do that processing piece of understanding what led to that and thinking about different ways that they can interact the next time. But in the moment, that's not the time to try and have a conversation. Use quiet, calm, neutral tones and not use too much language and not use too many long phrases, not ask too much of them. You want really simple things that you want them to do so that they can get themselves calmer. So I'm here for you. When you're ready, I'm here to talk. And repeating a phrase over and over like that until they are ready to talk. I hope you're feeling a little bit more comfortable to deal with the emotion of anger and that it is okay, and trying to figure out ways that you can safely work with kids who are being angry. And just so you know, I have an entire landing page on my website, which is all about managing anger. So if you go to copingskillsforkids.com/managing-anger, which you see right here, it gives you all sorts of ideas of ways that you can help when kids are feeling angry. And the next time I'm also going to be talking about some of my favorite coping skills when it comes to anger for kids in those really big moments. If you enjoy this podcast, please take a few minutes and rate and review us. That's really a great way for us to get found. Subscribe so you won't miss an episode. And one last thing, take a few minutes, take care of yourself, and have an awesome day.